Alright, so in my last video I looked at the XP300 and I said that there's 40 sounds on there, really 39 if you take out the volume pedal that it has. 39 different sounds broken into 4 different types of sounds, and they're all a little bit cool. So I figured let's focus a bit here and not try to do all 39 in one video. And we said that they fell into synth, warp, alien, and sonic. And the synth we looked at last time, that's really cool swells of synth strings in fourths or fifths or octaves, or with a little chorus attached, and it just gives an extra edge to your sound. It gets very shoegazy, very ethereal, super cool. The next block we're going to look at are called the warp, and these are time delay and reverse, and they're all a little bit strange. So again, this is not the kind of pedal like reverb or a straightforward delay or distortion where it's going to be clear what you're going to do with it and you're going to use it in a lot of songs. This is a little more selective, so you need to kind of experiment. So let's start off with number 10. 10, 11, 12, and 13 are all time warp delay, and they all do something with reverse playback. So they take the note that you're playing and they play it back to you in reverse, which is super cool, but they have some variations in terms of what they do with the dry sound and the forward sound, the actual real-time sound that you play. So the first one of these, you're going to play, and it's going to play the dry sound, and as you move the pedal forward, it's going to be almost like stopping a tape and rewinding it until it starts coming backwards, which is super weird. Then the other two, 11 and 12, are either going to play the forward sound, and as the pedal goes forward, they're just going to stop that sound, or they're going to only have the reverse happening and stop the reverse as you use the pedal. And then the fourth of those, 10, 11, 12, 13, so effect number 13, is actually going to mix the dry sound with the reverse sound. So you're playing dry, normal time, forward movement. As the pedal goes forward, the reverse, it's almost like that rewinding tape starts to play, and then they kind of catch up at the end where you've got both forward and reverse happening on top of each other. Super weird. So starting off with number 10, that's the dry sound, and that's the reverse sound. It's kind of subtle but cool until you start playing notes, and then it's a little less subtle. So that's dry, and then reverse. So playing dry and then playing that in reverse. So with the pedal all the way forward, whatever you do is going to come back to you backwards. Which is super weird. And then you can get this kind of weird montage by finding places in the middle where the tape isn't fully playing backwards at real-time speed, and you can kind of get this weird jarring effect. Almost like a vinyl record where you're kind of moving the record manually under the needle. So if you actually use the pedal and go fully rocked back to fully forward and play a riff and then have it come back to you, you can kind of do some pretty cool things with combining. So really cool, interesting effect. Not sure how often you'd bring that in a song, but definitely offers you some interesting stuff for your palette. Number 11 is just going to stop whatever you're playing. It's going to slow it down, almost as if somebody hit stop on the tape or slowed the record down, or the power went out and the record player kind of stopped moving. So rocking it forward completely in one instant, it's almost just like muting the string, so it's kind of pointless. But if you do it slowly, it's almost as if you slowed down or took the whammy bar and just depressed and detuned all the strings. that's a little weird. The next one up, number 12, I think is a bit more useful because it does nothing with the dry sound, but as you move the pedal forward, it starts to play the reverse tape. So that's kind of cool because it takes out the forward sound and just gives you the reverse only. That's 10, 11, 12. 13, as I said, is going to mix that dry sound in. So here's the dry sound. And the reverse is coming back at you too at the same time. So halfway between both of those settings, you can hear that kind of reverse playback tape starting up and picking up speed while the dry sound is still there. So it's a strange, jarring midpoint between both of those effects. Very atmospheric, really cool sound. These next two, 14 and 15, they will play the reverse, but they allow you to control the delay time, how much time elapses before the reverse comes back at you. So number 14, pretty quick and instant, and then rocked forward. There's a little bit of a delay that's happening there. And then number 15 does the same, but allows you to mix in the dry sound as well. So these next four, 16, 17, 18, and 19, they're super weird, and they introduce an octave shift. So it's jumping up an octave. If I rock the pedal all the way forward, it'll take its time getting there. So that's kind of weird. That's super weird. number 17 does the opposite octave. It goes the opposite direction. So you could just about play something in that, but it's hella weird, and I haven't quite found a use for that effect yet, but I know one exists out there. 18 and 19 do the opposite, so they start with that upper or lower octave and they come back to the octave you're playing in. For some reason that seems to work better, it seems to come to rest a bit better in the octave you're playing in, so you kind of hear a little bit more of the key that you're actually playing in. So it sounds a little bit more musical, shall we say, if this can be described as musical. Number 19 is going to start with the lower octave. It's a really weird pitch shifting effect. It's almost like having the whammy bar depressed all the way in and then the strings come back to normal tension. Feel like one of those guys outside the auto dealer. So if you want your audience to feel like that, if you want someone to have that feeling of the auto guy, wavy, inflatable balloon man, this is the effect for you. Personally, this is an area of the pedal that I don't go into a whole lot. I think the reverse sounds are super cool. I think definitely to add a touch of that in the middle of a gig is super cool, or to bring that in to make a recording unique and specific, that's awesome. I think these effects are a little harder to see how you place them. Of the four of these, 16, 17, 18, and 19, I think 19 is almost the most palatable, or the ones you can imagine using the most. I did notice at certain points here that the expression pedal wasn't really giving me the range I expected, and there is a way to reset the pedal. When you plug the thing in, you hold the bypass button down, and then it'll go to a kind of a calibration mode, where it'll tell you when to rock the pedal all the way backwards, when to rock it all the way forwards, and then it's calibrated. So if you have an issue with the pedal, you might need to do that just to make sure it's fully calibrated so that the pedal is being kind of recognized. Sometimes it just goes a little out for whatever reason, especially if you're going up and down a lot between the effects. So that's the next block of 10. The next one we're going to look at in the next video is the Alien. But like I talked about, these are all a little bit weird and take some time to digest and just kind of get your head around. So I'm not going to do all 39, 40 of these in one video. Apologies for that, just not going to do it. It's a little bit too much. So if you like what you see on the channel, as always, just hit that like button, and you can subscribe and hit the bell icon, and you'll get notification when I post new content. And I'll see you again in the next video, which will be for the next set of 10 from this super weird XP300 Digitech Space Station effects pedal.